One thing I think we'll probably get a good amount of talking about out of. I've watched the first 3 episodes of RWBY Ice Queendom.
Nice.
And I took a lot of fucking notes.
Did you really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I was like, yo, I got a bunch of shit to say for some reason. Okay. So effectively, episode 3 is where it starts to split. It gets up to the Nevermore fight, and then it starts doing its own story. It's totally separate of what exists already. So it doesn't invalidate the original. I think watching both is pretty good. But I wish if they were going to take anything from the original other than the base character designs in the world and stuff, was the fucking soundtrack. Because this soundtrack is boring as fuck. Like, it is just not... There's a few instances where there's like a hint of some of it. Like, they'll put a little bit of the melody of Red Like Roses or the other like title tracks and stuff. But it's never like full bore, and even like the OP is okay. It's better than the rest of the show, but it's not like the OG RWBY soundtrack.
Like the season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
Of like OG RWBY. It's like one of the best.
Yeah, that shit slaps. I'm not gonna lie. I went back and listened to a bunch of it. This did make me want to go back and watch more RWBY, because I have a theory that this, while being good in certain instances, much like a lot of just regular anime, is not consistent. Like, you've got those real fancy fucking Tokyo Ghoul keyboard let the budget hit shots. Yeah. And then you've got a bunch of weird, like, RWBY has no nose, so her face looks two-dimensional. There's a lot of that for RWBY for some reason, but yeah, it's just inconsistent. And you didn't really have that inconsistency as much with the original, because it was all just 3D models that existed. So they didn't really have... There wasn't like a perspective thing they were trying to do whenever they were in like the background. So they didn't have like poor animation or anything. I think in terms of consistency, Blake and Weiss probably look the best. But it's just because they're consistently drawn with noses. I don't know what the fuck the show is about, but Yang sometimes and RWBY, like, it's weird because some of them have very distinctive noses. Like Ozpin, for some reason, has like a very, like, he has more than just the line. He's got the line and then another line and another line. Everyone else is kind of just a line, and then RWBY sometimes is just nothing. And I'm like, girl, where is your nose? Like, you look like a pug. I don't like this. This is bad. Stop it. But Blake and Weiss, they don't have that issue nearly as much. The fights aren't as long. Because, I mean, I think that was the whole, like, Mon-Thurs thing was, of course, like, doing the fight animations and stuff. Yeah. But they don't, like the Nevermore fight, I feel like was 30 seconds max. Like, it's very, very short. I'm sure it's longer than that, but it doesn't feel like there was as much. And the whole Scorpion thing that Team Juniper has to fight at the same time, they do that shit like it's nothing. It's none of the fights feel as heavy, but when they like have those really cool animation scene, like when RWBY is running up the side of the cliff with the Nevermore, that looks fucking sick. But the rest of that scene is like, okay, there's not a lot of it, but it's fine. I'm hoping once they get to more of their original shit that the animation gets better, or like the fights get more elaborate. It is really cool that they're doing their own thing though. Ainz shows up, which is great, because I don't remember if he showed up at all in like RWBY season 1. But they didn't, like, it's a weird thing to even complain about. He has fucking human eyes, and it looks fucking weird. Like, they didn't try to just, like, draw his eyes any differently. It just looks like they plucked eyes out of another character and popped them in. They look too big and too, like, defined. And it looks scary. I don't like it.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's not on there a lot, but he, you know, when he is there, it's like, this is kind of weird, but okay. They don't focus on his face a lot for that reason, I think.
Pretty quick for 3 episodes, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they've been moving at a really fast clip through this, because we also had, so you had the Nevermore fight.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing that happens before the whole, their Ice Queendom thing, because they introduce a new Grimm, which is really interesting, but, San shows up, he pops off of the boat. They, like, Team RWBY chases him down, and they stop the White Fang from stealing a bunch of dust or something at the docks, and Penny shows up and wrecks all their shit. And I was like, I don't think that happened until, like, the end of season 1 or something, right?
I don't think Penny was till, like, season 3.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, this feels super fast, but okay.
At least I don't think.
Yeah, because it didn't feel like she was supposed to be there real quick.
Penny's like the daughter of the military general, isn't he?
Yeah, because she and San show up for the Vital Festival for the tournament and stuff.
Yeah, and that's like...
I'm like, yeah, that's 2 or 3. Like, it's in. Like, it's not a season 1 thing.
I'm pretty sure. I could have sworn season 1 ended with Nevermore, or at least that was the middle part.
Yeah, because, like, they do, well, I'm trying to, yeah, because they do more with, like, Torchwick and the White Fang and that shit, at least from what I remember, but it's been a hot second since I've watched OG RWBY. I might actually go back and try to, like, catch up, but we'll see. But they do their own thing, like, this episode 4, which is the one I've got next, is where they're going to really delve into it. But there's a new Grimm called a Nightmare, which is just like it's a parasite, effectively. Like, you almost can't see, it's like a little seed. Right. But basically, it will enter your body, feed off your aura, and pretty much put you in a coma. And the only way to like fight this is you have this special huntress that has this weird fucking Dreamcatcher ass bullshit weapon that's like, okay, I'm gonna fucking inception you into this guy's mind to fight the Grimm in his head. And John is actually, he's not the first one to get it, but he's the first one to show signs. So they're like, oh shit, okay, John's unconscious, we gotta send the rest of Team Juniper in to fucking fight this bullshit. And then it like kind of goes from there, and like Weiss is real fucked up with it, but no one can tell, which, as a side note, like, watching this, I forgot how terrible Beacon is as far as like actual school. Like, it's run so poorly. Because you think if like, okay, there is a physical way we can tell that someone has been infected, and there's like one person who can effectively deal with this fucking Grimm, we should maybe just have screenings. Just have everyone who went through the forest where this thing was come in and be like, hey, listen, a little uncomfortable. Take your clothes off. We need to see if you've got these weird fucking vines on you. Right. And then been like, oh shit, you have vines. Okay, let's fix this, instead of watch out for weird behavior. It's like, they're all teenagers. They all fucking act weird. What are you talking about? But I mean, then I guess there's no conflict in the story. But yeah, it's happening. It's good. I really hope that this isn't like a one-off. I hope they do like a lot more of this. Because I think RWBY can probably sustain a bit better in this way. Right. And I'd really like an English dub for this, because the sub is not bad. Like, none of the subs of the stuff I've been watching are bad, but I don't. This one, I think, since it was originally in English, I think I'm just more accustomed to hearing certain people. But yeah, it's good. Like, it's a consistency thing. When it hits, I think it looks better by a mile than the original. Right. But the fights are not as impressive, and it's inconsistent. So most of the time, it doesn't look terrible, but I don't think it looks as good as the original from a I want to say consistency standpoint because I want to repeat myself again, but that's effectively it. Just because, there's weird instances where just certain characters just do not look great, and it's usually RWBY, and it's always the goddamn nose. Because when other people have noses and have fairly like designed faces that look 3-dimensional, and then you got RWBY with these big ass silver eyes and no nose, it just looks weird. Which I think is why I had issues with her character design at first. But it's fine. She's gonna get a new outfit. I'm very excited for that. She's gonna get a ski outfit. Fuck yeah, let's go. Skiing. I've never skied in my life, but hell yeah, let's go.